change has to come on all levels, not just the quarterback position. It may be in the coach position too.
Yeah.
Even with the comment of the talent or the skill set in Cleveland, I don't think Shedeur will be any better.
What?
I don't believe in the talent that's around at the receiver position. I don't think they have enough. Do I think Shedeur Sanders is capable of making an impact on any team? Absolutely. But I would hate for Shedeur to be pointed at as, I told you, he ain't no different either.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the Cleveland Browns play, it's like, yo, it's not just bad quarterback play, it's bad football play offensively.
So this is one of those moments where someone can be right and wrong at the same time. Cam Newton just dropped a wild take again, and people can't stop talking. He said Shedeur Sanders would bring nothing to the Browns if he starts. Like, seriously, what? That's the same tired line all the Shedeur haters keep repeating lately. But then, out of nowhere, Cam flips it and admits Shedeur's got huge potential. He just claims the Browns' offense is too broken for even someone like Shedeur to fix. Now that's a statement. Is the offense really that bad, or is Cam just stirring the pot again? Because come on, this sounds more like drama than logic. Let's be real. Cam's dead wrong if he thinks Shedeur Sanders would be useless to the Browns. How can a quarterback with that kind of natural skill and leadership mean nothing? Everyone watching the Browns knows the truth. Their biggest hole is right there under center.
That was Cam Newton pretty much saying he don't think Shedeur will be any better. I definitely think Shedeur will be a hell of a lot better. You know, I got to disagree with Cam on that one.
This offense is desperate for direction, and that's exactly what Shedeur brings. His energy alone could light a spark in that locker room. A real quarterback doesn't just throw passes. He changes the team's whole vibe. He builds trust, boosts morale, and makes his teammates believe again. Cam acting like Shedeur wouldn't make a difference? Nah, that's pure nonsense. Shedeur could wake this squad up like a lightning bolt. Someone needs to remind Cam that a strong quarterback doesn't just run plays, he revives an entire offense that's been sleepwalking through games. Still, here's where Cam's not totally off base, because yeah, that Browns offense looks rough right now, like painfully rough. Remember that Patriots game? Man, it was ugly. The moment the plan fell apart, everything collapsed. No creativity, no rhythm, no fight. They couldn't even move the chains when it mattered. Third downs? Forget it. The total yardage was something you'd expect from a preseason backup squad, not a full-blown NFL team. How can anyone succeed in a system that looks broken from the ground up? Something's got to change fast before this whole thing crumbles. Man, this Browns offense looks straight up scared to breathe out there. They're terrified to take chances, to open up the playbook, and that falls squarely on Kevin Stefanski. So yeah, Cam might have hit a nerve. This offense is a disaster right now. But saying it's so bad that even Shedeur Sanders couldn't change a thing? No way. Because a real quarterback doesn't just play the game, he changes it. That's exactly what the Browns need right now. A total shock to the system. They need someone fearless, someone who's not afraid to sling it, move the chains, and give this team a heartbeat again. Nobody's expecting the Browns to magically become Super Bowl contenders overnight, but calling this offense hopeless? That's just wrong. Every broken offense can be flipped with the right man behind center. A real quarterback transforms chaos into chemistry. Give Shedeur the reins, and you'll see those wide receivers suddenly come alive. Drives will stretch longer, confidence will spike, and the energy in Cleveland will finally feel electric again. The talent's already there. They've just been missing that one guy to pull everyone together and lead like a boss. So maybe Cam Newton needs to rethink that little speech of his. Because if Shedeur lands that starting role, the Browns could flip from flat to fiery in no time. What do you think? Does this offense really suck, or is it just missing its true leader? Because one thing's for sure, Dylan Gabriel ain't it. Every game under him looks the same, slow, predictable, lifeless. How can this team win when their quarterback can't even deliver a spark? It's obvious at this point, Dylan Gabriel's only starting because Kevin Stefanski wants him there, not because he's earned that spot. And that's what makes it so frustrating. This isn't about skill or performance anymore. It's about Stefanski's stubborn loyalty, plain and simple. But why is he riding so hard for Dylan? Is it pure dislike for Shedeur Sanders, or could there be something deeper, like money, contracts, or some behind-the-scenes politics? Because let's be real, Something about this situation smells off. Now, before we start connecting those dots, let's talk about Dan Lanning for a second. He's the head coach of the Oregon Ducks, one of the toughest college football programs out there. And guess what? Lanning coached Dillon Gabriel back in college. Their connection runs deep. He's one of those old school coaches who never gives up on his guys no matter what. And clearly, he still has a soft spot for Dillon. Lanning's praised him over and over again, calling him hardworking and committed. But let's be honest, working hard doesn't always mean performing well. You can train from sunrise to sunset and still fall apart when the pressure hits. And that's exactly what we've seen from Dillon lately. Shaky throws, slow reads, and zero fire when the game's on the line. So yeah, maybe Lanning's proud of Dillon's hustle, but effort alone doesn't win games. When your accuracy's off and your decisions drag the whole offense down, it's time to face the truth.
About this gentleman, Jimmy Sexton. Jimmy Sexton is a sports agent. And he's the current agent of Dan Lanning and Kevin Stefanski. Now, with that being said, you know, what does an agent do? You know, agents help you get to the bag. Agents help you continue to make money. Hell, I'm looking for an agent right now myself. Agents make sure you stay relevant, but more important, agents make sure relationships is always good with peers. Now, with that being said, Dan Lanning has the same agent.
And get this, Lanning even said Dillon's done an unbelievable job staying connected with his old teammates, that he still checks in with the Oregon guys, and that he's ready to make the most of his next chapter. That's cute and all, but come on. Shouldn't his main focus be playing well right now instead of reminiscing with his old crew? The Browns don't need nostalgia. They need results, and fast. It's almost wild how everyone keeps praising Dillon Gabriel's work ethic and good character, but nobody talks about how awkward he looks out there on the field. You can literally see the hesitation in every snap. Sure, Dan Lanning sounds proud of his old player, and maybe that's sweet from a coach's perspective, but fans aren't tuning in for emotional pep talks. They want touchdowns, not testimonials. They want wins, not warm-hearted backstories. Because let's be real, being a nice guy doesn't move the scoreboard. Isn't it time people stopped glorifying effort and started demanding actual execution? And here's where things start to get a little too suspicious. Turns out Kevin Stefanski and Dan Lanning just happened to share the same agent, Jimmy Sexton. One runs a major college program, the other runs the Cleveland Browns, and somehow both of them are die-hard supporters of Dillon Gabriel. That's not illegal, but come on, it's way too convenient to ignore. People around the league are starting to whisper about whether Stefanski and Lanning's connection runs deeper than just football. Could there be money involved behind the scenes? Is Lanning quietly nudging Stefanski to keep Gabriel as the starter just to protect his own reputation? Or maybe both of them are just too prideful or too bitter towards Shedeur Sanders to admit what's obvious to everyone else. Whatever the case, this whole situation is starting to look messy, really messy. Because here's the truth, Stefanski keeps defending Dillon even as the entire league laughs at how bad it's gotten. Teams are literally calling his offense a gimmick. Fans are losing their patience fast, but Stefanski stays silent, acting like it's all part of some master plan. Why? Why keep doubling down on a quarterback who clearly can't deliver? Maybe now it all starts to make sense. The weird loyalty, the stubborn play calls, the refusal to give Shedeur Sanders a real chance to shine. Something's going on behind closed doors, and it's starting to show on the field. It's like no matter how many losses stack up, Kevin Stefanski is dead set on proving a point that nobody else even believes in anymore. The team's sinking, the fans are furious, and he's still clinging to this broken experiment like it's going to magically fix itself. At this point, you've got to wonder, what's really holding him back? Is Dan Lanning quietly pulling strings behind the scenes, keeping Stefanski from making the switch everyone's begging for? Or is Stefanski doing this on purpose? Running his own little agenda just to keep Shedeur Sanders sitting on that bench as long as he can? Because if that's not what's happening, then Stefanski needs to stand up and say something. Enough with the silence and the cryptic press conferences. Fans deserve real answers, and Shedeur deserves a fair shot. You can't just bury a talented player under vague excuses every week. It's not only killing Shedeur's momentum, it's dragging the entire franchise down with him. And this silence, it's gasoline on the rumor fire. The longer Stefanski avoids the issue, the worse it looks. He needs to face this head-on and finally show some transparency. Right now, he's hiding behind the same tired lines, acting like everything's fine when it's obviously falling apart. His smug one-word replies like, "Next question," or brushing off injuries with, "That's not my focus," just make it all feel more shady. Everyone sees through it. Fans, players, even analysts. If accountability really applies to the whole team, then it's time to hold everyone accountable, including Dillon Gabriel. Stefanski needs to say it out loud. Gabriel has to get better, and fast, because this isn't just about one quarterback anymore. It's about the entire team's credibility falling apart right in front of us. The truth is, this whole mess has gone beyond just bad football. It's turning into an open embarrassment for the Browns. Week after week, they keep pretending like everything's under control, but it's not. The losses keep stacking, the locker room's frustrated, and the fans are done believing excuses. Everyone can see the tension building, and all signs point to one thing: change has to come soon, or this season's about to implode. You can feel the frustration boiling over on the sidelines. Players aren't celebrating. The body language is dead, and the energy that once made this team dangerous has completely vanished. Nobody's buying into Stefanski's system anymore because it's just not working. And what's worse, he keeps forcing Dillon Gabriel into a role he clearly can't handle. It's like watching someone try to restart a car that's already out of gas.
Now, with that being said, is there a conspiracy for Dillon Gabriel to play? At this point, I have to believe it is. I'm not going to sit up here and say, but this is my opinion. You know, I have to believe this is a conspiracy against Shedeur in every way, shape, form, or fashion. There's no conflict of interest, y'all don't think, right here? Like Jimmy had some Andrew Berry, y'all didn't think it was no conflict of interest in any shape, form, or fashion when it comes to drafting Dillon Gabriel, knowing Dan Lanning, his former coach, has the same agent as none other.
Pointless and painful. And while all this chaos unfolds, Shedeur Sanders is sitting there, ready, focused, and waiting for his shot. He's the spark this team's missing, and everyone knows it. You can't keep a player like that on the bench while the offense crumbles. Imagine the message that sends to the team. Talent means nothing if you're not part of the inner circle. That's how you destroy trust inside a locker room. Even analysts are starting to call it out, saying the Browns look confused, uninspired, and disconnected. That's not just criticism, that's a warning, because when the players stop believing in their coach, it's already over. Stefanski needs to wake up before this turns into a full-blown collapse. If he keeps protecting Gabriel out of pride or politics, he's not just risking his job, he's risking the Browns' entire future. Fans want hope again. They want to see fire on that field. And if Stefanski can't deliver that, maybe it's time someone else steps in and finally lets Shedeur take control. Because at this point, there's only one thing left to lose: the illusion that everything's fine. At this point, the writing's on the wall. The Browns are running out of excuses, and Stefanski's patience is hanging by a thread. The fans can feel it, the players can sense it, and even the media is starting to circle like sharks. Every press conference feels colder, every answer sounds more defensive, and you can tell something inside that locker room is about to explode. People are whispering that the team's split right down the middle. On one side, you've got the veterans who've had enough of the same playbook, the same mistakes, and the same forced optimism. On the other, a group of younger players quietly rallying behind Shedeur Sanders, believing he could actually save this sinking ship. That's a dangerous divide, and if Stefanski doesn't act soon, he might lose control of the team completely. And let's be real, this situation isn't just about who starts at quarterback anymore. It's about leadership, accountability, and pride. You can't keep pretending everything's okay when your offense looks lost and your locker room's divided. That fake calmness Stefanski keeps pushing only makes things worse. It's like trying to smile while the house is burning down. The Browns front office is reportedly watching this mess unfold closely, and the whispers about changes coming are getting louder every week. If this losing streak keeps up, don't be surprised if someone upstairs decides it's time for a total reset, Because right now, the Browns look like a team stuck between potential and disaster, with one decision standing in the middle. And that decision, whether or not to finally give Shedeur Sanders the chance he's earned. Because make no mistake, this isn't just about a quarterback battle, it's about who really runs this team. If Stefanski keeps holding him back, fans won't just call for a quarterback change, they'll call for a coaching change too. One way or another, the Browns are heading for a breaking point, and when it hits, it's going to shake the entire league. Right now, it's not just about bad play calling or weak performances, it's about a team that's completely losing its direction. The Browns look like they're running on autopilot, stuck in a loop of the same mistakes week after week, and the only way out of this mess is to face the truth head on. If Kevin Stefanski really cares about this team's future, it's time to stop hiding behind recycled excuses and start leading like someone who actually wants results. No more protecting favorites, no more sidestepping questions. It's time for action, because the fans have seen enough. They deserve honesty, they deserve accountability, and most of all, they deserve a coach who's not afraid to make the tough calls. Shedeur Sanders, sitting on that bench while the offense collapses, makes zero sense anymore. This isn't just about loyalty or system, it's about saving a season before it completely slips away. If Stefanski wants to prove he's the right man for the job, this is his make or break moment. Either he wakes up and gives the Browns the leader they need, or he becomes the reason they crash and burn again. The players are restless, the fans are watching, and the pressure is about to explode, because Cleveland can only take so much disappointment before turning on their own. If you've made it this far, make sure to smash that like button. Drop your thoughts in the comments and tell us what you really think. Is Kevin Stefanski being forced to stick with Gabriel, or is this just personal bias against Shedeur Sanders? Don't forget to share this video and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next wild twist in this saga, because trust me, this story's far from over, and what's coming next could change everything.